Hey there, Wargamers, Justin on Paint here, and today we're going to talk about 2024. I'd like to welcome you guys back to the channel. If you're new here, please help us strike that like and subscribe button. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you for having my six. I appreciate you having my back. Thank you for being awesome lance mate, star mate, whatever the case may be for you. Thank you for being here to help support what I do. That said, I want to talk a little bit about 2024 with you guys here on the channel. As we approach the end of the year and we're going into New Year's, we're going to have so many videos and hobby posts and any kind of posts really on social media talking about New Year's, new me, New Year's resolutions. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to diet, which I should try and do. I'm going to do all these things. And when it comes to us painting, folks, all of the hobby backlogs that we want to dig through. And in today's video, I just kind of want to talk about that for a moment. I want to remind you guys as you go into 2024 that it is okay to take a break. It is okay to allow yourself to have a little bit of a hobby breather and work on something that you find enjoyable. Please, as you make your resolutions going into 2024, remember that this is supposed to be fun, and don't make resolutions that are going to stress you out. And remember, it's okay to modify those. If you feel like you're not going to quite hit that resolution you want, change it. The only person you owe anything to is yourself. And I think that it's good to try and strive for your goals, but especially with something that's supposed to be your hobby, don't let it be something that becomes toxic and eats at you. That is not what it needs to be. I think if you're setting hobby goals for yourself, set realistic ones. And I do think it's practical to try and encourage yourself to paint things before you get new things, but let's be honest, we're all going to go buy toys. The new Kickstarter is hopefully going to ship in February or so. We know there's new force packs and stuff coming for Battletech, and if you play other games and stuff and happen to be tuning in, we know you're buying 40K, we know you're buying Star Wars, you're buying all those games, we know you're going to do it. Just make sure you consider, are you actually going to paint those things? Like, if it is a backlog, that's okay, but are you actually going to paint those things? So maybe going into 2024, having a little bit of hobby accountability and making sure you make wise purchases is in order. But I think if you can afford it and it's something that makes you happy, you know, get into it. The plastic crack's a lot better than real crack, as they say. But the point of today's video is not just to give you guys my thoughts on the guidance and what I think would be good in terms of you know, painting things before we buy new things, because I got boxes of crap here. It's just what we do. I can say you should do that, and then I'm not going to follow that advice either. I can tell you I hope that you make hobby decisions that make you happy, and then I'll turn around and I'll stress myself out with painting, because that's what I'll do. But what I can tell you that I think we should all do to make, or what we should make a priority one for our New Year's resolution is not to paint, not to stress over that stuff. We're going to do that anyway. I think if we're going to make any hobby resolutions as a community, our goal next year should be to get out and do more to help grow the hobby, grow the community, whether it's Battletech or another game that you're playing. Every day I see posts online that are condescending. People act like their shit doesn't stink. They act like they're king dingaling, so to speak, in regards to wargaming, and it's just a freaking game. It's you roll dice. This ain't real life. It's supposed to be fun. And I think that if we as a community come together and start getting out there and promoting positivity and happiness, it doesn't mean you can't blow up somebody's tiny toy soldiers. That is absolutely true. But make sure that while you do so, they're having a fun experience. Maybe they're learning from the game if they're new. You want them to be like, man, I almost had you. You want them to come back and want to play again. And all too often I find that people are so excited about stomping somebody in the dirt, or as Adam from Death Ray Designs would say, dumpster dunking. People are so excited about doing that and, you know, taking even pride out of, you know, saying I got someone to quit. They don't realize that that's someone exiting the hobby, and that's just not good for anyone. That's like winning a battle and losing the gaming war. If tomorrow you could, you know, go 1v1 with everyone in the world in Warhammer 40K and beat them all, but the trade-off was everyone you beat quit Warhammer, and then you played everyone and they all quit, now you have no one to play with. That's obviously satire and extreme, but it's very true at a local level. If you have 12 people who play Battletech, which was huge, I think, for a local meta, that's probably a lot of people, at least in smaller towns like me. If your attitude and your demeanor makes it to where one day that 12 becomes 10, and a month from then that 10 becomes 8, and 2 months from that 8 becomes 4, and then one day it's just you and like 2 of your buddies, and you're like, where'd everyone go? And maybe they don't have the heart to tell you, but maybe, bud, it's you. Maybe your attitude and the things you bring to the table make other people not have fun. So my hobby resolution, and the thing that I would implore upon you guys to do, to make as your goal for 2024, is to be that catalyst, be that light in the dark for someone else, and be that motivation to get them into the hobby or encourage them to continue playing. It may take just that one thing, and it may only connect with that one person, but if you do it, and that person does it, and that person does it, it's kind of like a ripple effect. It's instead of one big drop in a pond, it's a bunch of little pebbles, and it keeps creating this wave. And if we send out a message to the world that, hey, this community is inviting, we are cool and we care about you, not just winning, maybe we'll get more people into the hobby. Maybe we'll continue to grow this, especially Battletech, this Battletech community, and show people that, like, there is more here to offer than what's on face value. There's more of a community here than people know, and maybe we'll start to compete with Warhammer. And yeah, that's folly. Like, you know, Catalyst is doing the best they can. Battletech's a strong IP in a Warhammer 40K, but it's not going to be Warhammer 40K until it is, if that makes sense. And I think that starts with us, the boots on the ground, the gamers and the hobbyists, to get out and promote a positive message and let others know, like, hey, that game is cool, and that dude's pretty cool. Maybe I should give that a shot. Like, he's super positive, or she. That's what I would encourage you guys to do. Make your goal in 2024 not to just be about you, not to be about becoming a better gamer, maybe about being a little bit of a better painter, because that also gets people excited. When you sit down with cool toys to put on the table, people get pumped. They like seeing that, especially if you're demoing Battletech to get new people into the game. So there's something there for the hobby growth, but make your goal to be that force of positivity in your community, to be that person that gets someone else into it. I want to hear in the comments at some point you guys to see a video and be like, hey, Amp, Justin, I saw that video you put out for 2024, and here's a story about what I did. I got this person into the game. They just dumped $200 and bought the Alpha Strike box and a bunch of Force packs, and now they're stomping me, and I got to get good because they're beating me now. I got to start beating them, you know, and be happy about the fact you got someone into a game. And for them, if they go forward and they get someone else in the game, they may be telling a story to that person about how you got them in. And I think that is incredibly awesome. One of the things that I really enjoy as a TO going to Nova is knowing that I might be the host that of the tournament for someone's very first experience in a wargaming tournament, especially for Battletech. And if I'm giving them that experience, we're like, hey, this isn't as bad as it could be. Like, it's not as bad as what I've heard. This is fun. I want to play this again. That's something I want to do. I want to know that I planted that seed and got someone to develop and dive into this hobby. And one of the things I did at Nova this year, we had a family of people come in and they played in the grinder. And I had been given some prize support to give away, and I had a copy of a game of Armored Combat. I'm looking at mine right here. The box sitting right next to me. You guys just can't see it, so keep eyeballing it. And I walked over and I said, hey, I got prizes for you guys. We've been doing bounties. One guy was like the dad, and I was like, hey, are you the dad? And he goes, yeah. I was like, okay. Everyone beat up on your dad, and if you blow up his mech, you get a prize, you know, a mech or whatever. So I did that. I thought it was really funny, but I said, hey, I've got this prize, this box. I don't really have a thing specifically for what I'm going to do to give it away. I was just given this, and it said, give it to somebody. If you guys will take this and promise me, and you got to promise me, you don't break your promise now. You got to promise me you're going to take this home, and you as a family are going to play with this. You're going to give this an honest go and try and get into this hobby. I need you to tell me that, and I'll give it to you. And I gave them that Game Around comment box, and if I recall, they messaged me or they got in Discord one or the other, and I gave them that, gave them a positive experience, and they loved it. They got into the hobby, and it was their first experience with this, and then they dove into it head first, right? And it doesn't matter what happens in life now. I know someone got into this, and 10 years from now, they might be like me, because I started 40K in 2010, and I played it for near a decade, and I loved it at the time. And if someone gets into this, and in 10 years from now, they're still doing it, if I was the person that gave them that push to try this game, and they're loving it in 10 years, I've given them a lifelong hobby. And that's incredibly freaking awesome to me. And that's the feeling I want for you guys to have going into 2024. Make it your goal for December of next year to have at least one story of something awesome you've done to help someone else to dive into this hobby and have a positive gaming experience. That said, folks, I think I've rambled long enough. I hope you guys had an awesome 2023. I hope your goals for 2024 are awesome. I hope that you achieve those, whether it is painting, gaming, getting out and doing stuff, or, you know, taking my challenge to get out there and be a force for good and growth in the hobby community. I hope whatever it is, whatever the endeavors are that you dive into, I hope that you succeed in those, and I hope you have a great and wonderful time. As always, keep painting your models, keep rolling your dice, and I will catch you guys in the new year. If you made it this far, you're probably a viewer that already hits that like button when you see a video come up. You're probably already a subscriber, and you probably jump into the comments down below to help support the channel, to help support that algorithm. But if you're looking for some other ways to help support the channel too, make sure you check the description down below. Maybe you want to pick up some paints from Monument Hobbies. That's my paint of choice, the Pro Acrylic line. Just Chef's Kiss, good stuff. Maybe you want to check out some of the offerings from Death Designs, where I work in my day job. We got plenty of 3D printed products, as well as MDF terrain, some of the stuff that I have designed myself and we play with here on the channel. And if you're looking to bolster your Battletech ranks, miniatures, and offerings, make sure you check out Bobby from Fortress Miniatures and Games. He's one of the main supporters of the channel as well, and supporting any of these companies helps support what I do and helps to ensure that I can continue to bring content to all of you. If you want to become a super supporter, I highly recommend you guys check out the Patreon. You guys give that extra little edge to help push more content out, and I really do appreciate that. And my ultimate goal on the channel is to continue to be able to not only put out the content we have now, but to get to a point where you can put out more content later, whether that be battle reports or painting tutorials or just more rambles, anything at all. I'd like to be doing more content for you. This is something that I enjoy. I like being able to cast a light into the darkness to bring a little bit of hobby positivity to all of you and make you feel good, and also enjoy playing games myself. As we do the final sign off here though, I do want to go ahead and switch on over and do the scroll of awesome to showcase all the Patreon supporters, the super supporters of the channel, to give them some recognition for helping support what I do. Thank you guys so much, and I will catch you guys next time.